good attitudes. The obstacles that arise will reveal your abilities. Stay firm, and one day you will build something lasting and worthy of your talent. Epictetus. In Stoicism, actions are more appreciated than words, highlighting the importance of how we conduct ourselves in life to face setbacks and events, remaining steadfast. Stoics value each attitude, and that's why in this video we will explore the teachings of a great philosopher named Epictetus, the story of Epictetus. Epictetus was one of the three renowned Stoic philosophers whom we reference to this day, along with Seneca and Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He was born a slave around 55 AD in Hierapolis, which is in present-day Turkey, and possibly died in around 135 AD in Nicopolis. During his childhood and youth, he lived in an environment marked by violence and decadence, undeniable characteristics of Nero's reign. His owner subjected him to such tortures and cruelty that it left him with permanent sequelae, including a lame leg, a condition he would carry for life. Thanks to his Stoic stance, he never saw his disability as an obstacle and refused to see his life as a tragedy. Remember, Epictetus's teachings are not merely theoretical but practical guides to facing daily challenges with calmness and perseverance. Incorporating these principles into our lives can help us react with more serenity and triumph over inevitable adversities. Remember, true freedom comes from within, and cultivating self-control is an essential step towards a more harmonious life. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join this journey by commenting with the phrase, "Stay firm," and I will leave a little heart on your comment, and together, we will continue learning and growing with the powerful teachings of Stoic philosophy. Now continuing from where we left off, people do not have the power to hurt you, even if someone attacks you verbally or physically, even if you are insulted. You can choose to see what is happening as an insult or not. If someone annoys you, the only thing that can disturb you is your own response. Therefore, when someone is provoking you, remember that it is only your interpretation of the incident that causes this feeling. Do not let your emotions be aroused by mere appearances. Try not to react immediately. Seek to have a broader view, step back from the situation, and strive to compose yourself. Epictetus did not lament or curse his fate. On the contrary, he acted with discipline and determination, staying firm and facing all the events and adversities of life. Epictetus showed that true freedom comes from the mind, and that this is under our control. While still young, Epictetus went to Rome and served Epaphroditus, who was Nero's secretary. Recognizing his talent, Epaphroditus took Epictetus to learn from the Stoic master, Gaius Musonius Rufus. Thanks to this Stoic education, he managed to overcome extremely difficult situations and conquer the tendencies of self-pity in his mind. When he finally ceased to be a slave and was freed, Epictetus was forced to leave Rome and go into exile, like many philosophers of his time. After that, he founded his own school in Nicopolis, where he became a highly respected teacher and accessible to all. Epictetus believed that the main goal of Stoic philosophy was to help people face daily challenges positively and deal with the inevitable great losses and disappointments of life. Therefore, he taught people of all social classes, from plebeians to politicians, patricians, and even emperors. Epictetus's teachings inspired Marcus Aurelius, the future emperor of Rome. One of Marcus Aurelius's teachers studied directly with Epictetus and shared with the emperor the notes he himself took during the classes. Marcus Aurelius, upon reading these notes, saw in Epictetus a wise man and recognized the moral doctrine of Stoicism as a model to be followed. The life and teachings of Epictetus show us that true strength comes from within, and that adversities are opportunities to demonstrate our true potential. His lasting impact on philosophy and his influence on great leaders like Marcus Aurelius prove that his wisdom transcended his time and remains relevant today. His principles of discipline, resilience, and emotional control continue to be valuable models for those seeking to live a life of purpose and integrity. That is why his lessons still resonate strongly in our days, offering guidance and inspiration to overcome our own daily challenges. Although Epictetus did not leave his teachings in writing, his faithful disciple Flavius Arrian took the noble initiative to note and synthesize the most relevant and necessary information from his master's words. Thus, he compiled his teachings into works known as the Enchiridion of Epictetus and the Discourses. The Enchiridion of Epictetus is a practical and ethical guide whose lessons have a central aim: to achieve true happiness, or eudaimonia. This state of happiness is attained through a deep understanding of nature, studying its laws, cultivating our reason to know ourselves better, and above all, building a solid moral character and living an ethically guided life. To achieve this goal, it is vital to act virtuously and control our vices and impulses. Now imagine you are part of Epictetus's school, being a dedicated student. The first lesson, the dichotomy of control. The core of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. Understanding and applying this principle clearly is what will guide all your thinking. Some things are under our control, while others are not. Within our control are our opinions, preferences, desires, aversions. That is, everything related to our actions. Outside our control are things like the type of body we have, whether we are born rich or poor, how others see us, in short, external aspects over which we have no dominion. Trying to control or change what we cannot only results in frustrations and disappointments. And if you believe you have absolute control over things that are naturally beyond your reach, or if you take on others' responsibilities, your pursuit will be distorted. And as a consequence, you will become irritated and lament, blaming God, life, or others. Epictetus's wisdom emphasized this authority over ourselves, which is difficult to practice and requires self-control and self-discipline. First, we need to differentiate between what is under our control and what is beyond it. When we take responsibility for what depends on us and accept what is out of our control without complaints or victimization, we grow morally. However, when we waste our energy criticizing or contesting others' actions, we undermine our strength, and this only brings us disappointments and frustrations. Consider a relationship. You expect your partner to change their rude behavior or to take more financial initiative. Even if you pressure or demand changes, you do not control the other's actions. The same applies to the work environment. Imagine being the leader of a team where a member does not put in as much effort as the others, arrives late to meetings, and misses deadlines. You can guide them, but you cannot control their interest in the project. If you go against this truth and believe you can control the uncontrollable, it will not yield good results. Practicing the dichotomy of control means having the discernment to distinguish what is under our command and having the discipline and self-control to take responsibility for what we can control and accept what we cannot. The second lesson is your self-control. Exercise your self-control, something Epictetus taught all his students. He claimed that if we allow frustrations and anxieties to dominate us, we become prisoners of these disturbing emotions, and as a result, our life becomes a path of anguish and suffering. We need to train ourselves not to react impulsively, maintaining our serenity and tranquility in the face of unexpected and unfavorable events. Start with small incidents. If you spill a little oil or have a bit of wine stolen, then you must tell yourself, reacting calmly in these everyday situations is the price to pay for inner peace. Nothing in life is free. Epictetus teaches us that there is a space, a gap between a stimulus and a response, and the key to a peaceful life is knowing how to use that gap. This idea is simple but very powerful if practiced daily and progressively. For example, you are stuck in traffic, late for an important appointment, and the light turns red just as you were about to pass. The driver behind you fails to stop in time and collides with the back of your car. As unpleasant as the situation may be, you do not need to react with anger and aggression due to the damage to your vehicle and the possibility of missing the appointment. Between the stimulus and the response, there is a gap that represents your freedom to choose how to react. The traffic, the light, and the driver who collided with you are external events that you cannot control. However, the way you respond to this situation is entirely under your control. This also applies to deeper aspects, such as the fundamental characteristics of your personality. Our behavior results from conscious decisions, not external circumstances. We have the ability to align our feelings with our values. We possess the initiative and responsibility needed to shape our destiny. The word responsibility here assumes the meaning of ability to respond. Highly proactive people embrace this responsibility and do not blame circumstances, conditions, or conditioning for their behavior. Their behavior is a product of conscious choices based on values, not emotional conditioning. You have the freedom to choose, regardless of the stimulus, your response. This freedom of choice is crucial, especially in adverse situations, where the way we react is what matters most. The third lesson is continuous self-assessment. Before taking any action, we need to be rational. We must look within ourselves and examine ourselves critically, not to diminish or boast, but to know our abilities, resources, and weaknesses to make cohesive decisions. Imagine that you signed up for a 30-kilometer race in your city. Your desire is to surpass yourself, showing that you can conquer this challenge. However, there are only 2 months left until the event, and you do not have a specific training plan. Moreover, you have never participated in an event of this type before and have not formed a support team. Even if your attitude is confident and positive, it is likely that you will give up before completing the race or even get seriously injured. Epictetus teaches that before proposing to do something, it is essential to carry out a rational assessment, looking at yourself without bias. This exercise is not meant to diminish your self-esteem, but to identify your weaknesses and strengths. In this way, we avoid underestimating our fragilities and also not overestimating our strengths. This practice is essential for balanced growth and success in our goals. In the case of the race, a rational approach would have been to recognize that, given your inexperience in races, it would be necessary to dedicate yourself to specific training, create a plan, and allocate time to plan your participation properly. This would significantly increase your chances of success. Often in life, we make important decisions, such as entering a partnership, starting relationships or friendships, without proper self-assessment in the face of the situation. This often leads to unsatisfactory results, much due to our negligence. In the face of each event, remember to look within and question yourself about what resources you have to face it. Be honest with yourself, clearly evaluating your strengths and weaknesses. Do you have what is necessary? If you are convinced that you are acting correctly, there is nothing to fear. Adopt a firm stance and act with total determination, without fleeing or dodging. Epictetus, the fourth lesson. In life, you must behave as if you were at a banquet. If something is offered to you, extend your hand and take a moderate portion. With this simple metaphor, the Stoic philosopher teaches us about moderation. Moderation or temperance is one of the 4 virtues of Stoicism. Having temperance means applying moderation to our desires. It is harmony and good discipline concerning pleasures, pains, and needs, which implies not letting ourselves be enslaved by our desires, nor allowing needs to become our masters. Learning to maintain a healthy distance from desires does not mean ignoring or trying to eliminate what we feel. Denying or pretending that feelings do not exist is entirely harmful to our mental health and balance. In Stoicism, we learn to practice moderation. Let's imagine a situation where you receive an unexpected bonus at work. Instead of spending all that money immediately on impulsive purchases or luxuries, you apply temperance. You decide to save a portion for your emergency reserve, pay off pending debts, plan a more conscious budget, set aside an amount for leisure, and also for your financial education. Instead of spending impulsively and accumulating debts, someone who practices temperance controls their financial expenses, adhering to a budget and making purchases consciously. By applying temperance to financial life, the person can organize better, seek balance between expenses, and ensure that the use of money aligns with their long-term values and goals. The fifth lesson is the desire to learn. It is impossible for a person to start learning what they think they already know. Epictetus. Among all the Stoics, Epictetus stands out as a true master. He conducted his school and welcomed students, but one of the sources of frustration for him was the attitude of some students. Despite claiming they wanted to learn, many believed they already knew everything. Maybe you know someone like that. However, all of us to some degree think we already know everything. We would all learn more if we put that attitude aside. No matter how intelligent or successful we may be, there will always be someone wiser, more talented, and more experienced than us. When we close ourselves in arrogance and vanity, we let learning and growth opportunities pass us by without even noticing. Think of the last movie you watched, the last book you read, or even this video. List 2 things you learned from each of them. You will not only realize what you can learn from everyday things, but also train your vision to learn in every opportunity. Today, knowledge is within our reach, but if we maintain an attitude of already knowing everything, we will end up trapped in our own ignorance. The 6th lesson is about principles. Your life must be guided by a set of principles. You need clear and rational rules with which to play the game of life. Whatever moral rules you have for yourself, you must respect them as if they were laws, as if you were committing sacrilege by violating any of them. Epictetus. Principles are moral and behavioral norms that serve as a compass to guide your steps and create order in your life. Having well-defined principles helps us maintain coherence in our lives and act according to our core values. They are like foundations that support our personal ethics, our behavior, and our decision-making. Without order, without principles, and without routines, your life tends towards chaos and is far from virtue. To define your principles, a process of reflection and self-examination is necessary. You can start by identifying which values are really important to you, such as honesty, compassion, justice, gratitude, among others. Then, transform these values into practical rules that will guide your behavior in various situations. It is crucial that these principles are clear and specific so that they can be applied consistently. Moreover, it is essential to understand that disrespecting these principles is a serious act that goes against your deepest values. Adopting this mindset is essential to ensure that your principles play a significant role in your life and function as a solid compass for your conduct. Thus, you can build a more orderly, coherent life aligned with your values, increasing your inner peace and happiness. The 7th lesson is, it is completely impossible to associate happiness with a desire for what we do not have. True happiness has everything it desires, and just like those who are well-fed, it should not feel hunger or thirst. Epictetus. One of the greatest obstacles to happiness is conditional happiness. When we say, I will be happy when, for example, I will be happy when I have my car, I will be happy when I get promoted, when I lose weight, when I have extra money, when I am in a relationship. This type of thinking is known as conditional happiness and is like walking in an endless desert. You can walk miles and never reach the mirage, not even get closer to it. Anticipating future events with anxiety, intensely imagining something you desire, and yearning for a happy situation. No matter how pleasurable these activities may seem, they destroy your chance of finding happiness in the present. Identify this longing, no matter how positive it may seem, and see it for what it really is, the enemy of your contentment. It is necessary to choose between longing and your happiness. As Epictetus says, the two are not compatible. The 8th lesson, ask yourself. First, tell yourself what kind of person you want to be. Then do what needs to be done. Epictetus. It is very unlikely that an archer will hit a target at which he never aimed. The same applies to all of us. Whatever your goal, your dream, you will surely miss the target if you do not bother to get up, aim, and shoot. Our perceptions and principles direct us towards what we want, but it is our actions that determine whether we will get there or not. Therefore, yes, spend some time asking yourself who exactly you want to be. What kind of person do you want to become? What are your personal ideals? Who do you admire? What are the qualities of these people that you would also like to have? Think about what is important to you. What are your priorities? Work to achieve them and abandon all distractions. It is time to stop being vague and imprecise. It is not enough to just wish and wait. It is necessary to act and act correctly. You who have come this far, demonstrate to be a resilient person and deserve all the prosperity this world has to offer. So comment, stay firm, and I will leave a heart on your comment, validating your resilience. But do not leave the video yet. Here on the screen, I will leave 2 of my recommendations to add even more value to your knowledge. Go watch them now and continue your path of growth.